This is my first vlog for this topic. I wrote a newsletter about a week ago, reflecting on this topic, but and then I wrote another newsletter just now. So this is a case study, a continuous case study that I have decided to what's the word, to really like reflect on, not reflect, but to, I would say, to it's a topic that I want to like really study and dive deep into, delve into, because it's a very complex topic, and it's it's something that an idea. It's an idea. It's really an idea. I wouldn't say necessarily it's like a topic, but it's an idea. It's a philosophy. It's even a theory, I guess you could say. It's something that I have came across as being an actor, as being an artist, and just being a curious person that I am, and just reading so many different things, and just breezing through articles and newsletters, subscribing to newsletters and stuff. And I really can't even remember where I really like came across this theory. But it was like years ago. But it talks about like the relationship with like creativity, sex, and being and practicing abstinence, and it's a very complex subject. It's a very complex like topic, because there's so much different opinions and philosophies and beliefs that goes with with restraining from sex or having sex, and also creativity, and also like being an artist and everything like that is so subjective. Definitely with creativity and in artistry, it's such a subjective thing, endeavor. But as me being an actor, like when I really like to dive deep into characters, I really like to like refrain from a lot of things. And the reason why is because I like to really force myself to start with nothing, and that when I'm in the creative stage, and starting from nothing in the creative stage, if you trust the process, day by day, you do start to see something become developed out of nothing when you start from nothing. It's very complex to talk about and to try to explain, but I've written about this about a week ago, and the name of the newsletter, I believe, is called Start with Nothing. And I very briefly talked about the idea of abstinence and creativity in 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 the benefits of that. And this is not like a fact, or this is a pure opinion. This is something that I have done and that I practice, but really, when I just restrain from transient activities, like activities that gives me those quick dopamine shots, or activities that are very like that fleets and come and goes, these. Like, don't get me wrong, as an artist and as an actor, when you're diving into a character, you do want to embrace those feelings and those emotions. You don't ignore them, but practicing them is a completely different thing. Like, I go through, especially now, like I go through every single emotion when I am reaching towards something, whether I am reaching towards a character, or in the real world, or if I'm reaching towards a goal, or something, or trying to achieve something. To me, the worlds with acting and trying to get into somebody else's skin and pursuing a high goal, to me, the process is almost very identical. To me, for me, is very identical. I am, as an actor, I'm developing skills. I'm learning. I am practicing. I am picking up different habits and stuff. And if I'm not on set or if I'm not on stage, I want, like, with me just being a curious person, and that my curiosity doesn't turn on and off. I'm always a curious person. I'm obsessed. I'm a polymath. It's that process still goes. Like, I want to learn how to be, if I want to be a cobbler making shoes, or being an architect, or a software engineer, or anything, that process still is the same. And then when you just like, and I talk about the creativity and the abstinence of, and how that can help you to become more creative, and it can really, you can really use your imagination. Your imagination becomes even stronger. I argue that, casual, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm not saying like sex is wrong or bad or anything like that, but I believe for me, I believe it can be destructive if you're doing it casually with no purpose, and it's not meaningful. And to be honest with you, anything that we do that with no purpose or meaningful is destructive. So why should sex not be talked about along with that? But I'd like to go a little deeper, but I even stress that it can hinder our creativity and our imagination. And I stress very heavily that creativity and imagination, heightening your senses, is crucial to remembering your future, is crucial to feeling like putting yourself, immersing yourself into chasing into the future version of yourself, the highest version of yourself. I always talk about like chasing the highest version of myself, and I always ask myself every single time, like, what would the highest version of myself do? What would it do? Because that's what I am chasing. And so it is very, this is like a very, like, to me, this topic is very interesting. I do a lot of research on it. I really can't remember where I first came up, like, crossed this idea, but it does work, because you think about the energy, like that, like sex is like the sexual energy is like very, very powerful, and you think about, instead of using that, regardless, even if it is sexual energy, instead of using that energy on a person that does not serve your value, that you don't care about, that you don't love, let's not, it's meaningless. But instead of practicing that act with that person you don't care about, that energy, that powerful energy that we have, these senses, the urge, that compelling, like almost need that we have, that compelling desire that we have to interfere in a sexual activity. Like, let's try to transition that into something that we do love and that we do care about, and like, let's use that energy for creativity, for our imagination. Like, let's imagine, like, let's create, and let's put that force into our creation, whatever it is. And I do believe that when you keep practicing it, like, it's easier said than done, don't get me wrong, that when you do practice this slowly, that you start to see, what really could really, like, your creation, you start to see, like, things that you probably would not have been able to create because you did not spend that time with yourself, with like, really diving deep into yourself. And I believe, like, you are, and I don't believe, this is a pure fact, like, this is a fact, like, you are your greatest asset. Your body is your greatest asset. So I talk about, like, since your body is your greatest asset, you want to invest in something that is a very great asset, that has a lot of that is very that has very a lot of potential to be a great asset for you to benefit from. So if your body is your greatest asset, you want to invest so much into it, and you don't, and something that's your greatest asset that you value a lot, or that you should value a lot, which is, I'm talking about your body. You don't want to give that away to someone that's not worth it, because you diminish your value by doing that, and you diminish your value. You diminish anything that has value if everybody can put their hands on it, everybody can see it, everybody can touch it, everybody can feel it. The value is diminishing it with any property. So that's why if something is so scarce, it increases its value. So you are your greatest asset, and you are the niche. And we don't want to give our time to everybody. We don't want to give our body to everybody, because our body is our greatest asset. And we want to keep like pouring in stuffing and investing value into our body, human capital. And it's like I said, it's very, this is a very complex topic, and I will do more videos on this, but it's just something that I wanted to talk about and I wanted to share. I do believe that when we practice abstinence, that that we, a sense of real powerful creativity and that creative flow really does starts to form. Whether you're a writer, a rapper, an actor, any kind of artist, or just a business entrepreneur, anything, it does start to flow, because it's flowing from within us, our greatest asset. Like I say, talk about, like, everything that we need is within us. Let's not so much focus on external forces to give us what we need. Let's not practice like casual sex to feel secure, to feel wanted, to feel loved. No. Want yourself. Love yourself. Have self-security. Let's focus on everything that we want and desire. We give it to ourselves first before we reach out for others to give and depend on others to give it to us. And we will never depend on other people to give anything to us, ever. This self-developmental process never stops. It's just that if somebody comes into our life, they are contributing to our life. They are already adding what we already can do for ourselves. It's iron that sharpens iron. It's nothing that you can do for me that I cannot do for myself. You are just here. You're an addition. You are, and you better be doing what I'm doing for yourself, what I'm doing for myself. And then we come together, and then we can grow even more, build together. Iron sharpens iron. Two is better than one. But yeah, think about the topic. Think about this. Like I said, not everything I'm saying out here is factual. It's an idea. It's a philosophy of mine. Outside of your body being your greatest asset and you losing your value if you give it to everybody, that's a fact. But yeah, this is an ongoing case study, and the need for further research. I am doing that. I have all these different ideas, and I like to create case studies. I like to do it. It's fun to me. I like to write about it and talk about it. And if it's not factual, I will say that. If it is, I will tell you it is factual. And if some of the stuff, if people don't believe in some of the things that I'm saying, please, you write me, comment, tell me. We can debate. I have no problem debating. I like to learn, and I have no problem being proved wrong. But make sure if you attempt to prove me wrong that you have things to back up what you're saying. But yeah, man, prioritize self-reliance and personal growth. Start with self. Love yourself. Obsess with self. Invest in yourself. It's all about you. Focus on obsessed over self-development, and then you can focus on being fruitful and expanding. Love you all. Till next time.